So, Don, you want to amend? There was a big argument, a very predictable argument, maybe the most predictable argument on the show is the argument over when it's time to sell in baseball. Because Michael is always, you can't do that to your fans. And Don is very much, the team stinks, blow it up. And last week you said about the Mets, blow it up. And when Michael argued back, you said, I'm not buying it. Show me something.
Right.
They have not lost since then.
And they've showed me something. Since Grimmish
they lifted it up.
The first pitch, they showed it to everybody. They've won 6 in a row. Now, you've got to be careful here because they started the season 0-5.
Oh, wait, Don, by the way, you're entering Diamond Notes.
Okay, I love it.
Brought to you by London Jewelers, yeah.
Started the year 0-5. Then, from April 4th to April 20th, 12-3, best record in baseball. Followed that up, April 21st to May 29th, 10-25, worst record in Major League Baseball. They follow that up, May 30th to the present, 12-4, best record in Major League Baseball. So what that tells me is they're average. That at any moment they could be the best team in baseball, and any other moment they could be the worst team in baseball. So if you split the difference, Peter, that means you're average. Here's the news. Average might be enough to have you be alive at the trade deadline and might be enough to get you into the third wild card. So I amend it from the standpoint of they have shown me something. But I fully expect we're going to all of a sudden see them lose 7 in a row and go, oh, my God, what are we doing? All I said was that if I'm David Stearns, I'm listening to offers because I don't know how good this team really is. Now, Michael's argument was, I don't think you get anything for him anyway. Well, if that was the case, then you hold on to him. I'm not giving him away for a bag of balls. But if I get a phone call from a team, listen, it's not going to happen. Because the Yankees and Mets don't make blockbuster deals.
But go ahead.
But let's just say, for sake of argument, that what I was talking about is the Yankees, Brian Cashman, after finding out that Rizzo's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks, calls up the Mets and says, I want Pete Alonso. I'll give you 2 of my top prospects. I'll give you Rice, and I'll give you the Martian. It would never happen, but am I going to say, no, Brian, we think we can make the playoffs? No, you make that deal. Of course you make that deal because it looks like Pete's going to walk at the end of the year. But those things are fantasy. That's not going to happen. That's what I was talking about, is start having your radar up to possibly move the Martes and the Alonsos of the world, the Severinos of the world. But they've won 6 in a row. They're right there on the cusp of possibly making the playoffs. They're only 3 games under 500, so they can have another big week coming up here against Texas and Chicago and actually be a winning team. So I'll just amend it to say, now I want to see where this plays out. But I just gave you the stats. Coming is going to be another collapse because that's kind of what they are. I don't think they're a great team, but Peter, the National League stinks. And if they're going to continue to win baseball games, then I've got a reason to watch. I got a reason to enjoy my team, and I'm going to hold on to these pieces.
Why? The whole thing about whether the Mets should be sellers or buyers at the trading deadline, which is a month from now. And I'm thinking the Mets are 2 games out of a wild card. They're finally hitting on all these cylinders. And these guys who we always talk about playing to the back of the baseball card, well, they're so down that if they play to the back of the baseball card to get to a 280 average, they'd have to be 300 for the next month and a half. So if they do this, they are going to be firmly implanted in a wild card spot by the time the trade deadline comes. And there's no way in hell, public relations wise or otherwise, that the Mets could be thinking about trading Alonso. Really, at that point, they're looking to pick up pitching. So, we finally got the Mets going now. They went from vomit on canvas till now all of a sudden everybody's hitting, everybody's getting a little something done, and just in time for the NBA season ends. So, like you said, we can save out summer here. Hopefully, the Mets can continue to at least play. The amount of streaks they're on this year, up and down, is really mind-boggling. But let's enjoy it. Hopefully, they give us a summer of baseball out in Flushing. And Pete Alonso's not going anywhere if the Mets are in a wild card place.
Yeah, most likely not. But here's the thing that we need to be careful of. And Danny, thank you for the phone call. You were talking about the ups and downs of this team, and I mentioned it earlier in the show. They started the year 0-5, followed it up with a 12-3 record, which was the best in baseball. Followed that up going 10-25, worst in baseball. Followed that up with right now 12-4, which is the best record in baseball. So, listen, there's a lot of baseball to be played between now and July 31st. But so let's say July 31st, they're 2 games out of a playoff spot, but they've lost 5 in a row. I need to see what it looks like. I need to be able to feel where we're at. I just can't look at, well, Don, they're only 3 out of a playoff spot, so we've got to be buyers. Well, be careful, because you might be 3 out, but you might be 5 under 500, currently, 2-10 in your last 12, and not feeling like you're going to go on any kind of a run. So I want to know what it looks like when we get to July 31st. Danny, you're right. If you're only a couple of games out, I guess you got to follow it through. But be careful when you talk about being buyers, because you've got to give to get. So I'm not giving up any big-time prospects for some fugazi run to the wild card. I might leave it alone. I might not sell Peter, but let's also pump the brakes on, well, I got to be a buyer. I got to go out and get this guy and that guy and start depleting my minor league system for a run that's not going to bear any fruit. So let's see what it looks like. To me right now, it's, am I selling or am I staying pat? And then if we get to a position where they're above 500 and they're playing more consistently, then we could talk about buying. Because based on what they've done so far this year, right around the corner could be a 6-game losing streak. And then what are the phone calls going to be? So let's play it out. What is it, June 18th? So we've got, a good, a little less than 6 weeks before the trade deadline? Let's see how this plays itself out. If they continue to play well, then it's a different story. But let's enjoy what they're doing right now, because at any moment it can turn based on what we've seen recently. But listen, get me annoyed. Go to Vinny in the car.
Oh, I love it. I don't know what he wants.
Vinny.
Hey, Vinny. We got you, buddy.
What's up, guys?
Hi.
What's going on? So I'm a big Mets fan here, and on Friday I was listening to the show, and I was kind of annoyed with Don's take that he wanted the Mets to sell so far away from the trade deadline. I just think it's crazy that the New York Giants could be 3-10, and he's banging on his chest saying how important it is for them to win games. So I just didn't know why he was on
because at 3 and let me ask you something, Vinny, because you're trying to start trouble. But what can you do? Let me ask, what can you do? I know you're going to say improve your draft position, which is one player. What can you do at 3-10? You can't sell off. You're way past the trade deadline. How is it tanking as a baseball team? If you look at your team and say, I don't think we're going anywhere, maybe we can trade some pieces and be able to get some talent back. I'm not saying I want to lose games. I'm just saying that if you've got guys that are on their last year of their contract, why would you want to take the chance of letting them go? And then I'd listen. I never said sell. I said, let's listen to offers. And if it's something that blows you away, then definitely try to take advantage of it. Now it's over because they've won 6 in a row, and I guess we're going to ride this thing out. But Vinny, to me, that's not tanking. If somebody offers you, like I gave the scenario, it would never happen. But the Yankees offer you, the Martian and Rice for Pete Alonso because they just lost Rizzo. I think it'd be foolish to say no to that because you think that your team might be good enough to win a championship.
You don't disagree with that,
So how is that the same as me, the Giants being 3-10 and me rooting for them to win games?
Because the Giants would always miss that one player. Like in football, you need the quarterback, and with that premier pick, you guys missing out on a chance to draft that. And the thing with Steve Cohen is he said he always wanted to be the Dodgers, and the thing the Dodgers do most is they make the playoffs every single year. So
right, but the Dodgers also have a lot of homegrown talent, and the Mets were trying to build up their farm system, and they're still trying to build up their farm system. I understand what you're saying about the draft pick.
They did a good job last year, too.
But I'm talking about bulk, right? I'm not trading one player for one possibility of becoming a transcendent player. I'm talking about if I could trade a few pieces and be able to rebuild my farm system. I don't know what that draft pick is going to be, Vinny. First of all, I got 3 wins. Is it going to guarantee me the first overall pick? Is that quarterback that I'm going to draft going to still be great? Because here we look at Trevor Lawrence, right, who everybody thought was going to be a can't-miss first overall pick. We killed the Jets for winning games at the end of the season because they lost out on Trevor Lawrence. And even though Trevor Lawrence just got huge money, we still don't know exactly how good Trevor Lawrence is going to be. It is a complete crapshoot. So for me as a fan, I'd rather sit there and watch my team win. And even if the Mets sold off, Vinny, I'd still watch the games and hope that they win the games. So I don't think strategically selling off pieces in a lost season is tanking. So I don't look at it as the same thing.